Hello, my name is Dontavius Seaborn, and I am the Senior Associate Director of Admissions for Diversity and Inclusion and Outreach Recruitment at the University of Notre Dame. And I want to thank you all for being here today at the Black Excellence at Notre Dame event. Today, we're going to tell you a little bit about community, unique experiences of our black students here at the University of Notre Dame, and ultimately what helps them celebrate and inspire them to be better for their community and impact their community. At this time, I'm going to allow for each of my panelists to not only state their name, but their hometown, their major, and then also any clubs and organizations that they are a part of.
So how you guys doing? My name is Damon Snow. I'm a senior here at Notre Dame, born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. Oh, and also my major is business analytics, and I'm part of Wabruta. I'm actually the president of Wabruta, which is our Black Men Association we have here. Along with that, I'm also a part of NSBE, the National Society of Black Engineers, along with a few other clubs.
Hi, my name is Skylar. I am a sophomore. My major right now is gender studies and pre-health, and I am a part of Shades of Ebony, which is a club for black women on campus.
Yeah, what's up, y'all? My name is Isaiah Hall. I'm a senior here at Notre Dame. I double major in Africana Studies and Film, but I've been through just about every major there is in the book. And then on top of that, I'm from Houston, but I stay a little bit outside the Atlanta area now, and I'm the vice president of Wabruta, as Damon talked about, as well as the vice president of the Africana Studies Club.
Okay, so thank you all for not only telling where you're from, but the clubs and organizations that you are a part of, which brings us to our first question. What helps you build a strong community, whether that is your club, organization, the friends you've met, and more at the University of Notre Dame?
Yeah. So I'll start off with this one. I feel like a big part of my experience has been the clubs, hence why I'm the president of Wabruta. Early on, I had an upperclassman who was part of Wabruta who took me in under his wing and really supported me during my time of transitioning into, Notre Dame. And that, became a big part of my life of being part of clubs. But then in addition to that, I will say early on in my freshman year, we had this thing called the Plunge, which is the Black First Year Retreat that I got a chance to be a part of. And I made so many friends there that I'm still friends with to this day.
It's an amazing experience. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it definitely was. And many of my fellow panelists could vouch for that. But yeah, that's my experience.
Yes, I also went to Plunge. It was a really great way to meet other first-year students and other upperclassmen. But I also wanted to add, I really have enjoyed Shades of Ebony as a part of my experience. I remember applying. I wanted to find ways to connect with other black students on campus, especially black women. And I was doing some Googling and researching online. I saw Shades of Ebony pop up. And I was like, I'm going to join that when I get on campus. And I did. And it's been probably one of the best things I've done since getting here. I had an amazing big who was a senior. We do big little events in Shades of Ebony. And she really helped guide me through the year, helped me meet people. And just through the club, I've made lots of fantastic friends and had gone to lots of fantastic events. Like, one thing I thought was really fun that we did was we had a little spa pajama night last year, and I thought it was really fun. It was just a really fun, relaxing way to connect and just decompress with everyone.
Yeah, and then, echoing similar sentiments, I've also did the Plunge. I was a participant my freshman year, and that was a great experience being able to meet other black freshmen who were in the same position as me. And then my junior and senior year, I was able to be one of the leaders for the Plunge. And so being able to spread my wisdom and knowledge and help sort of create the sense of community for some of the black freshmen who are coming in was a very good experience for me. And then also going back to Wabruta, that was – I'll never forget. I was in the same boat as you. Like going into my freshman year, I needed to find out, where are the black people at? I wanted to find where's my community at. And I'll never forget being recruited by some black upperclassmen, and they're like, hey, you got to sign up for Wabruta. You got to join us. We meet on Sundays. Like, let's do it. And so just having that and being able to have the opportunity to be amongst, brothers and just be able to be amongst a community that's welcoming of me, I think it was such a monumental impact. And it was such a monumental impact on myself that I ended up running for and being elected vice president of Wabruta because I felt like I needed to give back and reinvest into a club that invested so much in me.
All right. And for all those who may be wondering, again, the two organizations' names are Shades of Ebony, which is for our women who are from black backgrounds, also African diaspora or any black background that may be in the United States or outside of the United States. And then also Wabruda is the male version of that also. So if you want to look up them on their Instagram or even look up them on their website, you can find a lot more information on there and through our database with our 500 clubs and organizations. Next, I'm going to talk a little bit about celebrating your unique identity for yourself and what helps you impact your community on Notre Dame's campus, whether that is a talk show that you are a part of, whether that is an opportunity that you've had to be a part of, whether that is a event that has been on campus. Can you guys expound a little bit more about something of that nature?
Yeah, no, totally. So one thing that, I've been able to do to kind of impact and contribute to the amazing community we have here at Notre Dame is I worked with the Black alumni to create a networking event to bring together Black students with Black alumni across the country in cities like New York, Chicago, and Atlanta, and just to help people, see the future, see what's possible for, students like us. Because too oftentimes, when we're in class, that's, our sole focus and we don't, get to see what's out there and see what's, ahead of us. And so having that opportunity was great. And through that, I was able to get celebrated by Notre Dame as I received the inaugural Black Excellence Award through my efforts of putting that events together. So that's been a great experience overall.
Okay.
I would say there's like two really fun things I want to talk about, and one of them was last school year there was the Wiz. It was like a talent show that the BSA did, and it was super fun. I'm always super nervous to kind of put myself out there, especially like on stage and things like that. And there's lots of little talent shows and things on campus, but I wasn't really comfortable. But I saw BSA doing this Wiz talent show thing, and I was like, you know what, I'll sign up. So I signed up. I had such a great time. I felt like I was really able to express myself. I was a part of the fashion show, and it was just a really great experience. And I'd also have to mention the Black Excellence Dinner that Shades of Ebony hosted. It was a really great opportunity and a great time to meet other Black undergraduate students and graduate students and celebrate each other and celebrate all the Black excellence at ND.
Definitely. And even like adding on to that with the Wiz, I was also a part of that in the fashion show. I was specifically in the red part of the fashion show. And that was an amazing experience, but it was just so amazing seeing so many well-dressed Black men and women who were just so proud of their identity and being able to be a part of the Wiz and just celebrate not only the film, but then also what it means to us as a community was amazing. And so I think even kind of adding on to that, I'm also the director, executive producer, and host of Black at ND, which is the only Black-centric talk show on the campus of Notre Dame. We talk about Black people, Black culture, Black history. And so being able to celebrate, not only Black students through like a live event that we did last year, that we normally do annually, just having panelists of numerous Black, I guess we had one alumni, I believe a Black alumni. He was actually the first Black leprechaun in Notre Dame, Mike Brown. And then, and then also having other Black student organization leaders, being able to celebrate them, give them their flowers, but then also just being able to even shed light to faculty, and staff. Like we had Executive Chef Calvin Metz, the first Black executive chef in Notre Dame history, being able to have him on the show and speak with him. And like that's just, different ways we've been able to do that. And I think even now, as a film major and also a filmmaker, like I was just telling some of y'all today, like, I've been yesterday, today, and tomorrow, I'm shooting a short film with an all-Black cast and an all-Black crew. And so being able to do stuff like that really speaks to the Black identity and Blackness and just celebrating everything that entails. I think that's just, one of the ways, or some of the ways I've been able to celebrate my unique identity.
Okay. And we've spoken a little bit about identities at this point, but of course, Notre Dame is not just a regional university. It is a global university with several opportunities to go abroad. Over 75% of our students study abroad from one semester to multiple semesters. And also at Notre Dame, if you study abroad for a semester, all of your tuition and fees will go with you overseas to any of those experiences. Can you guys talk a little bit about going abroad at Notre Dame, if you've had an experience about that or within that area? And then what are some things you possibly learned while you were abroad?
Do one of y'all want to kick it off?
Yes, I'll kick it off. So this previous summer, I went with Kellogg
Okay.
on their Pre-Experiencing the World Fellowship to Zambia, and we did volunteer work with African Impact, and we had a lot of great like cultural excursions, but we were really immersed in the community, doing teaching work, volunteer work, and just really being in the moment and being there. But it was a really fantastic experience. It was all paid for, received a stipend. There was no worry about working. Like, you really got to really enjoy being there. And it really helped develop my leadership skills. And, like, it was just something I would have never done without that program. So I really thought it was an amazing opportunity.
I'll jump in now on this one because, like, similar to your experience, I actually had an experience to study abroad in Dublin, Ireland, and through the Gateway program at that. And so, like, a Gateway program is, like, Notre Dame has its own site with, you know, professors and such that helps you throughout your journey there. And so through that experience, I got to, you know, experience what Ireland was all about through excursions. We went to, the West Coast to Belfast. We went all over Ireland. And, like, me, I'm from New Orleans. And so, like, New Orleans is super flat. Like, this to be frank with y'all. And so getting the experience to, you know, go on these excursions and hike through mountains and stuff like that, that was, like, eye-opening to me because I never experienced something like that before. And I'm just so grateful for that experience. Just because it's opened my eyes up, like I said, but then I also learned a lot about the history of Ireland, learned about the history outside of the U.S. I feel like too often times, you know, you only learn about what's in the U.S., but there's so much else going on outside of the U.S. And so learning about the troubles and the various things that happened out there in Ireland helped me, you know, kind of, I would say, develop my critical thinking skills a bit more, understanding these different situations that, you know, other people are going through and how that I could take those experiences with me to shape who I am becoming as a young man. So yeah.
Yeah, and then, like, with me, like, I haven't had the opportunity to study abroad. It just wasn't something that, it was something I wanted to do, but with me hosting Black and Indeed, it was something that was just so integral to my core that I just didn't want to give that up for a semester. But I would also say just being an Africana Studies major, which is the study of the African and African-American diaspora. That, to me, has been so impactful within broadening my global perspective, being able to learn about African history from all different countries within Africa, as well as Caribbean history. Just being able to know more about places that I never knew much about in the first place. So being able to broaden my perspective there has been amazing. So even though y'all got to really go to places and stuff like that, you know, at least I can say that I was able to, you know, learn more about the histories of different countries and different continents, and just be able to understand more about the world at large and kind of how it's shaped.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, so a little bit more about what Damon spoke about directly about one of the centers that we have over in Ireland. We do have actual physical locations in over 11 countries that we call our communities for our students to go to. We actually call those the Golden Gateways. Want to make sure I get that correct. But you can actually find out about those through going directly onto our fact sheet on our admissions website, where you can see over 70 different countries that our students are actively going to in each semester. So if you are one of those students who have a favorite place that you would like to go to, or a country that you may never thought you can go to, our university supports our students' endeavors when it comes to going overseas. They actually help you with the passport workshop on campus because we have a USPS directly on our campus for our students, and they actually walk you through this process. So it isn't a process that you kind of figure out on your own. It's more of a process that is guided. So if you're really interested in going abroad or just seeing the world, you will have that experience throughout your 4 years at Notre Dame. And then, as he said, there are other courses also that will be experiences for you to think globally and kind of think about, you know, what are the differences in the United States and outside of the United States. So you'll have that intellectual discourse to think about those things, but also you'll have time to kind of broaden your horizons in different ways. One question that I would like for the seniors to talk about a little bit today is all students want to know, you know, what is the return on investment when they're going to a place like Notre Dame? What type of internships are available for you? Or, you know, how did you find an internship? Can you kind of speak to that for us? You know, what internship did you do? Where was it located? And then also if you found it directly on campus or if you went through an organization, kind of speak to that also.
Yeah, for sure. So this previous summer, I had an internship at Ideas United, which is a marketing and creative agency in Atlanta, Georgia. And that was a very monumental experience for me. Number one, I found it through Handshake, which, Notre Dame is very big on being on Handshake and providing opportunities, whether they're internship opportunities or even job opportunities, So that's where I ended up finding the company, applied to it. Process was great. And then from there, being able to be a production intern and have some of my first experiences on a professional set, and being able to see what that looked like, to me was very impactful and not only in my own future, but also my understanding of film. And so some of the stuff I was able to do, I was able to be an extra as well as the assistant to the assistant director of large commercial shoots that we did with NCAA, for example, so the March Madness campaign. So y'all will actually see either me or some of the work that I was able to be a part of whenever March Madness comes around. Being able to be a script supervisor and assistant to the assistant director for a commercial shoot for Piedmont Hospital was very big for me. And then probably my biggest thing, the company ended up flying me out to New York City, and I was a part of an interview with the commissioner of the WNBA. So being able to do like stuff like that and being able to go to New York was always a dream of mine. Never thought I'd be able to do it. Be able to just experience film in a different light and learn so much, but then also do so many amazing things. I mean, it's not much more I could really hope for.
Yeah, no, I echo a lot of those same sentiments when it comes to internships. I have had about 3 internships, summer internships up to now, but one that really sticks out to me was the one I had after my sophomore year, where I got to intern in in Chicago with PwC. It's a consulting firm. But prior to going on an internship, like when I was going through the process, alumni, not even. Oh my God, I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. But upperclassmen who actually had an internship with them and was about to graduate and go on to work full time with them, they helped me out in terms of finding that internship and landing that internship. And then through that process, I actually was able to go on an early career trek with PwC to Disneyland in Florida.
Yep.
I mix up
Orlando, Florida. Yep.
Yes. And so that was a great experience. But then once I started my internship the following summer, we had a lot of work. Be honest with you, internships are work at the end of the day, but you get paid, and you get money, and that just helps you out in a long term. But we also had a lot of opportunities to have fun with our internship. And one thing that my internship did, they brought us out to Soldier Stadium. They rented out part of the stadium for us to just have games, activities, just to meet people who are part of the company, but also bond with some of my peers who's also interning there. And I had a great time throughout that whole internship. So.
Okay, and you spoke about Handshake. Can you talk a little bit more about Handshake? Like, what is Handshake?
Yeah,
for the
so
students
it's
who may
this.
not know.
Yeah, it's basically this app / website that essentially has like listings of job opportunities, specifically with internships, but even full-time career opportunities. And it's sort of like the number one way that Notre Dame pushes out to its students to get internship offers, because going to Notre Dame, you obviously want to get your internships. It's very important, very big, not only for the school but also for your own personal career and your future. And so, there's opportunities from everywhere. Like even I can speak to film. Like you have things like Ideas United, which is a company that most people may not have heard of, but has done commercials and production shoots with some of the top companies you've heard of, like Apple and Google and stuff, all the way from like NBC to Universal. And I think even Netflix is on there too. So just having those opportunities to, kind of be able to be exposed to the different avenues and venues that you can actually take to advance your career. Handshake is perfect for that. And there's definitely a lot of help and assistance that goes into being able to do stuff like that.
Okay. So at this time, we're going to take a couple of questions or some questions from the actual crowd at this moment. So, one of the top questions we're always going to be asked is how easy is it for you to actually join a club? And when do you find out mostly about the clubs? Can you all speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, early on, when you come to Notre Dame, actually, I believe like the first weekend, they have a club fair where basically the whole football stadium is open for students to go in, and there's clubs with different tables set up to, introduce you to whatever they have to offer. And so like with Wabruda, we had our own table to, recruit guys and let them know that, hey, we got a brotherhood here for the guys, so they could find a home away from home. But early on, Notre Dame really let you know about all the opportunities and all the clubs that they have to offer here. So, yeah. Anybody else want to kind of add to it?
Yeah, I'll add. It's really easy to join. Like, you're encouraged to join. And the club fair is a great opportunity to find different cultural clubs on campus. But the club fair can be a bit overwhelming. There's so many great opportunities.
Yep.
And they all want people to join. There's nothing like competitive about joining a club. They want you to join.
Definitely. Like even with especially like the cultural clubs, like as a black student, black upperclassmen, even like black sophomores that come up to you and be like, hey, join Wabruda, join Shades, join B-Band, join all these other different black clubs, and even join like, the investment club and other clubs that may not be black centric, but also can still advance you in your career and also in your time at Notre Dame. And I think that's really important, especially also for, black freshmen. Like the plunge, I think is very important when it comes to being exposed to specifically black clubs, because, you have some of the plunge leaders will literally be presidents and vice presidents of the different clubs, specific black cultural clubs on campus. And so being able to be exposed to them and just have that, up close opportunity to ask whatever questions you want to ask, and kind of, it honestly gives you like an upper hand, and just being able to navigate campus and being able to navigate, sort of the different clubs and organizations that Notre Dame has to offer.
Okay. So one question I'll ask directly, we have a student who asked specifically about fraternity and sorority life. The University of Notre Dame does not have fraternity and sorority life at our university. Our residential system acts as a sisterhood and brotherhood for our community. When you come to the University of Notre Dame, you are randomly assigned to a residential hall, one of our 32 residential halls. And in that residential hall, you have the chance to stay there for all 3 years, which is a part of our 6-semester requirement at the University of Notre Dame. And it's a place that fosters community for our students. It's also a place that kind of represents that brotherhood and sisterhood, as they all have their own kind of identity or staples around their identity, with the mascot, with colors and creeds and mottos, all of those type of things. So the next question I'm going to ask directly from there is, what is something that drew you to Notre Dame in the college decision process? All of you guys were once in some of these student shoes, right? You were applying to a university and you chose Notre Dame for whatever reason that was. What is something that possibly drew you to the University of Notre Dame?
I can answer that question. So I'm a QuestBridge scholar, so I was able to be admitted through Notre Dame through QuestBridge, which I think is a very great opportunity for students to have access to prestigious universities that they feel like they may not have access to. So that was big for me, and even in my decision to apply to Notre Dame, I'll be honest, I'm a big football person. I'm not an athlete anymore. I'm retired, but seeing that Notre Dame had a really good football program, I was like, I gotta have something to do on Saturdays, Yes. So being able to see Touchdown Jesus on the ESPN coverage, and I guess now Peacock, NBC, was really important for me. But then also just knowing how academically rigorous Notre Dame is, but then also knowing how far a Notre Dame degree could take me. Yep. Those were those like the two things that really made me want to apply to Notre Dame.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll add to that. I would say the biggest thing that drew me to Notre Dame was the academics. Because I'm going to be frank with y'all. Being from New Orleans, I didn't know much about Notre Dame at all. Okay. And I ended up finding out about Notre Dame through the scholarship program that I'm part of, Posse. Kind of similar to QuestBridge. We ended up getting matched with universities. And I got matched with Notre Dame. I'm like, okay, I don't know too much. Let me look into Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. And so after doing my research, I found out about, the football and everything and the big culture and the community that we have around that. But then also I looked into the academics. At the time, I didn't know what I wanted to do in life. And I always had like an entrepreneur spirit. Like I used to do bake sales and things like that in high school. And so I was like, okay, I might do business. Let me look into their business school. And I found out that Mendoza Notre Dame Business School here is one of the top 15, top 10 business schools in the country. I'm like, okay, this will set me up for success going after I graduate and everything. And then another thing that I'll add that people may not know about not being part of Notre Dame, but once you get here, is the alumni network. they are very strong and they come through for you time and time again. Like I said, I had 3 internships, and 2 of those came from alumni helping me out throughout that process. So yeah.
I would say what drew me to Notre Dame was just all the opportunities available.
Okay.
Like, also being from New Orleans, I hadn't heard too much about Notre Dame, and I didn't realize how much of a presence it actually had in New Orleans. Like the city clubs, like the New Orleans club is actually a pretty big club. But hearing about all the different opportunities, and like it's like Notre Dame is a place where you don't have to hunt down opportunities. Like they are placed everywhere, and it's very easy to become involved in the school, get internships, go abroad. Like, you'll never feel like you don't have an opportunity to do something. That's
And I want to add to that as well. Like, even whenever I was applying to Notre Dame, I didn't know what I wanted to major in. I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I think that's something that a lot of incoming freshmen, they may not know what they want to do, and that's perfectly reasonable. And so, I said in my introduction, like, I've had almost every major that there is to have, and so I think that is something that, even though it wasn't necessarily in my mind whenever I was applying to Notre Dame, it's something that was very important to me, just knowing that you can really, especially your freshman and sophomore years, depending on what major you're in, you really can experiment with different things, and you really can try out different majors. You can see, okay, I like this, I don't like this. Okay, since I like this, maybe I can expand on this and go further with it. Maybe I like it, but it's not something I want to do in my future, so let me use it as a minor or a supplemental major. I think having that sort of freedom, and especially there being such a vast array of majors and things you can study here, I think that's also very important for incoming students, but also for me and my time here.
Yeah, I want to kind of expound upon that because I think that's something that students think about in their exploration and opportunities. I think that one of the best things that I love about Notre Dame is that opportunity to seek discernment for your major within your first year. You have that opportunity to kind of gain that first-year advisor who's going to walk you not only through your interests, but maybe what's your other interest that you have, right? Because students at times may only know the most popular majors, right? So if they're interested in engineering, they only know computer science and mechanical, but they don't know much about electrical engineering, or they may not know much about civil engineering. And the same is for business, right? Most students know about finance and accounting, but there's things like your major, business analytics, and there's also marketing. So I think that one of the greatest things that you guys are touching on is that opportunity to really have that moment to discern what it is you want to do. And you're going to have the opportunity to do that at Notre Dame. We're going to not only provide you with resources and an advisement team that's going to help shape your interests, but also we're going to help you get through that opportunity or that type of process to succeed and get into the major that's going to be best for you at the end of the day. One of the next questions that I'm going to ask is a little bit about resources that'll help you thrive. Of course, that can be a support system through things like the multicultural student programs and services. That can be things like the Office of Student Enrichment. Any type of resources that has really helped you kind of hone into a skill or help getting you to that career aspiration that you would like to have.
I would say for me, actually I have a little bit of a story. I'm not going to try to take up too much time with it, but coming in my freshman year, like I said, I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I picked out, a set of classes that I feel like would help me kind of figure out what I wanted to do. And early on, it was a struggle. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Actually, like my first week, it was just a struggle. I had microeconomics and computer science that day. And going into computer science, my first class of the day, bro, when that teacher was coding, bro, it looked like hieroglyphics. Like, I was so confused. I'm not lying. But, I had to keep myself together. I had to push through and keep going throughout my day. Then I went to my microeconomics class. And within that class, we had like 5 problem sets that day. Man, I struggled through those 5 problem sets.
I remember those days. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I only got like 2 out of the 5 right. Man, they had a girl next to me. She just had a sticky note and a pencil on her desk. I'm like, did she do the work? Like, so I turned to her, I'm like, yo, you did the work? She's like, yeah, I did it all in my head. I'm like, we doing math in our head now? That scared me. I'm not going to lie. And like walking out that class, I'm like, okay, I need to lock in. I need to figure out how to, get on top of my grades because this is about to be a task. But along my walk back, one of the upperclassmen seen me, and he seen that I was kind of distraught with, that whole experience that just happened. I told him about, hey, this all happened and everything. He was like, okay, you recognize that you're struggling right now, Most people don't. Now, do something about it. Go to office hours. A lot of people don't capitalize on that. And so I started to capitalize on that. Going to office hours really changed my trajectory here at Notre Dame and helped me to get to the place that I am today. So I would really say lean into office hours, because your professors, they are humans just like us.
Yep.
They want to see everybody succeed at the end of the day. And like sitting down, just having a simple chat with them about life, but also about your academics could really go a long way and, you know, helping you thrive here at Notre Dame. So, oh yeah.
And then I can go. I think number one, Office of Student Enrichment is very important. You know, Notre Dame got money. Okay, so it's about, especially as a student, it's about taking advantage of those resources.
Yep.
And the Office of Student Enrichment helps out with so many different things. Like I've been able to use it for like professional clothing. Like I had an event, I needed to buy a suit. I didn't have suit money, but Office of Student Enrichment was like, you know, here's X amount of money we can give you. You know, you can go buy a suit or be reimbursed for it. If you need a computer, your computer broke, you need to get a new one, they can either provide you with the computer or they can give you X amount of money towards the computer that you're looking at. It's like that was really big for me. Also, the UCC, the University Counseling Center, has been very integral within my time here at Notre Dame. Like especially as a student, Notre Dame is hard academically. I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of us come here is to be challenged, and we also know that the degree can really take us very far, carries a lot of weight. But with that can come a lot of mental struggles in the classroom, also just being a student, you know, and what comes with that.
Everyday life.
And exactly. And so being able to go to counseling, free counseling, being able to go there and have, you know, a therapist who number one can really see you for you, and really wants to work with you to improve, you know, your mental well-being, which will then transition into your academic well-being, your professional well-being, whatever the case may be. That to me was very important. And then the last thing was fairly recent, honestly, over fall break. I was able to go on the LA film entry check, which is something that the film, television, and theater department had done for a couple of years, and I think COVID kind of happened, and then they stopped the program, and so this year was the first year kind of reviving that program after a while. And so being able to go to LA, which was a dream of mine, I'd always dreamed of going to LA, and being able to tour, you know, Warner Brothers, we went to Netflix headquarters, and UTA, like these different talent agencies, Universal, DreamWorks even. And so being able to go there and network with alumni who have graduated from Notre Dame, who are establishing themselves in the film industry, as well as just being able to enjoy what LA has to offer and see, you know, is this a place that I'd want to be and live, you know, full time, especially being in the film industry. And so that helped me with a lot of discernment in my own career, in my own future. And so being able to have that opportunity, which most of it was paid, I just had to pay for my flight, and that was it. And so to have the most of that paid off was very important for me.
Definitely, and I like to touch on a couple of things you spoke about. I think UCC is one of the best opportunities we have at a place like Notre Dame. Mental health is one of our key components to our students being successful at Notre Dame, and I think it's a great place for a safe ear on our campus, number one, but also a time for you to be able to vent when you're having challenges. You know, challenges are part of the beauty of going to an institution. No matter what institution you attend or interested in, there will be some bump in the road, right? So I think that UCC it's not only that it is free for our students, but they also check in on you, right? So the same investment you're making to stop there and be brave and say you need some type of assistance is the same process they push back with and check in on you to make sure that when you get to a space that you want to be at, that you keep being in that same space. The next thing I'll talk a little bit about is the Office of Student Enrichment. It not only provides our students with suits they may need for an interview, but it also gives them opportunities to get football tickets, right? It also will provide them an opportunity during Family and Friends Day on campus. You may want to get a relative flown up to be with you during that weekend, right? They can do that for you. They will work with you to get that significant other or family member up to our campus so that you feel supported during those initiatives. And then last but not least, there are so many opportunities resource-wise that our students from any diverse background can utilize. We have an actual DEI center on our campus with an executive director named Doug. He's very familiar. He has coffee chats twice a week. with our students where they can drop in and they can tell them about not only the great things that they're doing, but what challenges they may be having across their 4 years. And then last but not least, another opportunity again that I'll repeat is the multicultural student programs and services, which people may think they only throw programming. That is not actually what they are charged to do. They are charged to actually get our diversity council and our students to host initiatives that students may want to do, whether that is a Jeopardy night, whether that is bingo, whether that is a Black History event that they want to host on campus. But they serve as that kind of thought framework system for our students to work with them and get initiatives done. Things like our barbershop that came to campus, that came through them. So we have a barbershop on campus or a barber. I actually got my beard lined up today by the barber.
Shout out Barber Joe.
I actually go to him. Barber Joe is his name. And we have a hairstylist. And we also have a vending machine on campus with different hair products within those. And those all came through the multicultural MSPS, which is the program office that provided that for our students. So at this time, we are going to close, but I do want each of you all to give each student one tip on applying to Notre Dame, and then I'll end it with some oversight on the application process. So one thing that you felt you did in your application process to be successful.
Yeah, I would say be authentic. That's the biggest thing that you can do. Everybody has a story, and here today you heard each of our stories, but share your story within your application, and that'll ring through with the people who are reviewing your application, and they'll see you for who you are, and they'll go a long way in making sure that you're successful with your application.
I would say in your application, talk about a lot of activities you did throughout high school, but not specifically just, I did a bunch of activities, but talk about how you grew through those activities and how you changed those activities and how they changed you, and, how Notre Dame could be a place where you can grow as a person.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was going to say be authentic as well, and just show a true passion for, Notre Dame or whatever the schools you're applying to. Show that true passion. Show that this is a school that you want to go to. Because at the end of the day, the students who are applying, to schools everywhere, especially to Notre Dame, they may not even Notre Dame may not be a top school. They may just be a school they're just applying to. So kind of just show why you, number one, deserve to be here at Notre Dame, and to show why you want to be here. I think those are the main things.
Yes, so for any of our seniors that are watching us today, you still have time to submit an application. January 3rd is our next deadline and our final deadline to have the chance to enter our Notre Dame family, as we call it. And then if you are a junior here today with us, or even a sophomore here with us today, I would like for you to not only research Notre Dame, but look at our pre-college opportunities. We have opportunities where you can spend weeks on our campus to really get engaged with Notre Dame and learn a little bit more in real time on our campus. Last but not least, all of these things are just ways to showcase yourself in our application process. We have essay prompts where you can directly self-report your identity, self-report your culture, self-report pieces of Notre Dame like Wabruda and Shades of Ebony that you feel are going to be an impactful part of your experience at Notre Dame. And last but not least, I'll say to be authentic, as they said, show us who you are. At the end of the day, the application is an opportunity for you to not only weigh in on your interests, but also show us who you are as a person. I believe that we have one of the most down-to-earth applications, even though it is on a computer, of course, but it offers you that opportunity to really lean into who you are throughout the application. So again, we want to thank you all for being here today at the Black Excellence Experience with us at You Belong at ND. And I want to thank all of our panelists for being here today. And we want to thank you guys for putting in the time and effort for seeing us. And we also want to say good night to you all and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.